Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome to my channel, and today I'm super excited to be picking my January reads using a prompt jar for the first time. Alright everybody, so yes, I am going to be picking my January TBR using a prompt jar, which I've actually never done before. I really like having control over the books I want to read, but I love watching other people's prompt jar videos, and I do want to switch up my content a little bit this year, both for myself and for you guys. So every month I'm actually going to be picking my TBR in a different way. I know I will be doing the prompt jar at least a few times just because I can change it up pretty easily, but I have some other ideas too for how I will pick books in future months. And also just, hey, what's up you guys? It's been a while since I made a video, I think 5 or 6 weeks, and I have been on YouTube for 5 years. I had another channel, a thrifting channel that I still post shorts on, but I created that 5 years ago, and I've been making videos pretty consistently ever since. My next video is going to be more of a day in my life, catch up, reset, goal setting type video, so I will give you a little bit of a life update then. But I have really missed making content for you guys. I appreciate everyone who has reached out to me, and I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season, but I'm ready to get back into routine, get back into the groove, and one of my main goals for this year is to be very consistent on this channel. But alright, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I have, I think, like 28 or so prompts in this jar, and this is not my entire TBR, honestly. I've really enjoyed over the last 6 months or so since I've had this bookshelf in my office just pulling out the books that are most on my radar during the season. I usually don't get to them all, but I think it's fun and it keeps me from getting too overwhelmed from all the books that are on my TBR shelves. But what I'm gonna do is pull out 6 prompts. I'll probably read more like 8 to 10 books this month because it is a pretty chill month, but I do want to give myself a little bit of room to pick what I want to read. Okay, so first up, this is so exciting. I've only watched people do this. A book published after 2015. So actually I think a lot of these books were published after 2015. That's almost 10 years old now. But this one I did recently get and I've really been wanting to read it. Okay, so we're good. This was published in 2022 and my first book that I'm going to be reading in January, The Whaleborn Feeder by Joanna Quinn. This cover absolutely caught my eye on Book Outlet and the blurb sounds super interesting to me. It says, one blustery night in 1928, a whale washes up on the shores of the English Channel. By law, it belongs to the king, but 12-year-old orphan Christabel Seagrave has other plans. She and the rest of the household, her sister Flossie, her brother Digby, long-awaited heir to Chilcombe Manor, Maudie Kitcat, kitchen maid, Terrace visiting artist, build a theater from the beast's skeletal ribcage. So all the characters sound really interesting to me, and just the idea of them building a theater in a whale is very different. And then time goes on, we go into World War II time, Christabel grows into a headstrong young woman. She and Digby become secret agents on separate missions in Nazi-occupied France, a more dangerous kind of play acting it turns out, and one that threatens to tear the family apart. So not sure if this one will jump back and forth in time, or if it will just start when Christabel is a kid and then moves on to when she's an adult, but I think this sounds really interesting. I love historical fiction, and I love that this is much different than any other historical fiction I've read. Next up, let's see what we got. A book with a great first sentence. So this might take me a while. I'll have to look through some different books. So let me see what the first sentence of this book is, because I definitely want to get to this one quite soon. This is Darling Girl by Liz Michalewski. I think it's just a retelling of Peter Pan. In a very tall tree sits a girl. Simple, it does draw me in, not the most exciting, so let's look for another one. Let's go for a thriller. This is Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. She wrote Flicker in the Dark, which I really liked. I feel like thrillers can oftentimes have a pretty good first sentence. One day we were strangers, and the next we were friends. Also not the most exciting. It doesn't draw me in a ton, but I do feel like there's too much pressure put on that first sentence. Let's try one more, and then we'll just pick the best of the 3. Okay, this is one that I actually have read before, but it's been probably 15 to 20 years. This is The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane by Kate DiCamillo, I think is how you say her name. Okay, this is what we're looking for. It says, once in a house on Egypt Street, there lived a rabbit who was made almost entirely of china. That's a good first sentence. Really like that one. So this book, I think of the three that I picked, is the best for the prompt. Also, I love this book because I got it at a library book sale, and it has a little kid's like school note card. It's talking about one section equaling 640 acres, and I just resonate with this kid because I totally used things like this as bookmarks when I was little. Still do, honestly. Third prompt. Okay, I can see why people really like doing this. This is so much fun. A book with a pretty cover. I do really like this cover, and I've been wanting to read this, and I do want to read one nonfiction book a month as well as one classic a month. I'll talk about that more in my next video, but this would definitely fit the nonfiction. This is David Grann's The Wager, A Tale of Shipwreck, Mutiny, and Murder. I've heard such good things about this book. This is the same author who wrote Killers of the Flower Moon, and Leonardo DiCaprio just starred in that movie. Haven't seen it yet because I want to read the book first, but I definitely think this is one of the top nonfiction authors. This is set in 1742. There's a very long blurb, but it says it's a mesmerizing story of shipwreck, survival, and savagery, hard to say that word, culminating in a court-martial that reveals a shocking truth. So I think it's like there's a shipwreck and people start moving towards like cannibalism and stuff like that. Sounds very sad, but very interesting. So really, really looking forward to reading this one. And I think this is a very pretty cover. Already on prompt number 4, a book with a number on the title. Hopefully I actually have something that fits that on this shelf. Okay, so we've got one option because this is The Demon King, which is a 7 Realms novel. I think that counts because that is the series. Oh, Six of Crows. That probably would work better. That's a good one. All right, I think that's it. I think we are gonna go with Six of Crows. I have really, really been wanting to start this series. I feel like so many people have read it and really enjoy it, and I'm pretty sure this is one of the highest rated books on Goodreads, so I'm very much expecting good things, and I like that so far we've had a pretty good balance of genres, which is what I typically like to do in a month anyway. So this is a duology. This is the first one, of course, Six of Crows, and then the second is Crooked Kingdom, and then this is also tied to the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I'm not sure which one you're supposed to read first. I know I looked it up and I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter, so hopefully it's okay that I'm reading Six of Crows before Shadow and Bone, but I think I'm really gonna love this one. It says, a convict with a thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, a heartrender using her magic to survive the slums, a thief with a gift for unlikely escapes. Kaz Brecker and his crew are the only ones who might stand between the world and destruction if they don't kill each other first. And I just love books like this. This is a young adult book. I love a little cast of characters. Only 2 more, but this is looking like a good month so far. All right, now we're going for number 5, digging down to the bottom. A book in a series, which I was really, really hoping I would get actually, because you guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, that I am in the middle of the Robert Galbraith Cormoran Strike series. I think this is number 6, maybe 5 or 6. This is the Ink Black Heart. Very thick book, but I took a break from reading the books in the series for the last 2 months just because there were so many other ones that I wanted to read in November and December. But I was in the habit starting in, I think like July, of reading one of these books a month, and I really enjoy that, so I definitely want to keep that up in the new year. Don't want to say too much since this is in the middle of the series, but basically this series follows a detective, Cormoran Strike, and his assistant, Robin, and the series follows their personal development, their relationship together, as well as each book covering a different crime. So some I've liked more than others, but I've really liked all the books overall. I don't think any has gotten lower than a 4.5 for me. And I feel like they just keep getting better and better because you are getting more and more invested in the characters. All right, last one, and then I'll tell you which other ones I'm thinking for the month as well. An author you've never read. This I feel like could actually be a lot. I feel like I haven't read a lot of these authors. I'm also being mindful of the fact that I know some of these books are going to take me a while to read, so this is probably a good opportunity for me to pick a little bit of a skinnier one, although The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane will be a quick read. I haven't done a thriller yet though, so I do definitely want to read one this month. Let's do this one because this very much looks winter vibes. vibes, and I've never read anything from this author before. This is Five Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. So this probably would have been a good one to read during December, but that's okay. It says, Mira needs to get home for the holidays badly, but when an incoming blizzard results in a canceled connection, it looks like Mira might get stuck at the Philadelphia airport indefinitely. And then Harper, Mira's glamorous seatmate from her initial flight, comes to the rescue. Harper and her 3 friends are renting a car, and they can drop Mira off on the way home. But as their trip begins, Mira discovers her fellow travelers aren't friends like she thought. They're total strangers, and every one of them seems to be hiding something dangerous. Sounds super fun. I love a thriller. I've said it before, but I feel like thrillers for me are what romances are for other people. Usually quick, easy reads that kind of serve as an escape from reality, and I just love reading them so much. I'm sure I'll read at least 2 this month. Okay, so those are my 6. And I'll just kind of let you know what other ones I'm thinking I'll read. So like I just said, I do like to read usually a couple thrillers. I think I'll probably end up reading The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. I've really enjoyed everything that I've read from him, some more than others, but he hasn't disappointed me yet. So it looks like we are going to be following Emma. It's going to be jumping back and forth in time. She's going back to a camp as an adult that she went to as a kid, where probably some pretty crazy stuff happened. So I love books like this. Riley Sager is a great writer, so I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. So that's 7. I still need to pick a classic, but I think what I'm going to do with classics for the most part, this worked pretty well for me in the past, is to listen to them on audiobook. So I think I'm going to do the Fellowship of the Ring audiobook and also kind of reading it because I do have the physical copy. I am a huge Lord of the Rings movie lover, and I know the books are a little bit different, but I've never actually read them, I think because I'm scared I won't like them because I know they're different. But this is the year I'm for sure going to get through that series. So I'm going to read and listen to The Fellowship of the Ring, and then let's do one more. So I feel like I do have most genres represented. I've got my classic, I've got my nonfiction. Let's do maybe more of a literary fiction. Or actually, I think I'm gonna do Kate Atkinson's Normal Rules Don't Apply. This is actually a book of short stories, so that'll be a nice filler. Maybe I'll read like one short story in between some of these other books. But alright, just to recap, in no particular order, just the order they fell in, we've got Robert Galbraith's The Ink Black Heart, which is a detective book. Then we've got Kate Atkinson's Normal Rules Don't Apply, literary fiction, short stories. Thriller, The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. Another thriller, Five Total Strangers. Also, I realized this could also have fit that number one. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, fantasy young adult. David Grann's The Wager, A Tale of Shipwreck, Mutiny, and Murder. Nonfiction, so excited for this. Then we've got The Whalebone Theater by Joanna Quinn. I would say the primary genre here is historical fiction. And then we've got Kate DiCamillo's The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane, which is middle grade, I would say, but such an adorable book, I think, for all ages. But alright you guys, that was everything that I am going to be reading during the month of January. It's going to be a pretty chill month, not too much going on, but I can definitely see why people like to do the prompt jar TBR, so I for sure will be doing it again in the future, but I am going to be picking my books in other ways, as I said earlier. But if you like this video, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help my channel out a lot. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!